And here we are back. It's Rule of Two. It's episode 20. It's dropping during the holidays while everybody...
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We hope you're enjoying your eggnog. We hope you're enjoying your turkey, your presents, the Schmodown Spectacular, all the stuff that's happening right now on Collider Video. We're here. We're back. We wanted to remind you real quick that
big
starting...
news.
Big news. Next episode, the very next episode, episode 21, this is episode 20, but episode 21 will be on the main channel on YouTube, Collider Video. We are moving over there. It's no longer going to be on Collider Podcast. You can always find Rule of Two alongside Jedi Council on the Podcast One Jedi Council feed.
Yeah, but the video portion.
The video portion will be on Collider Video's main channel. Thank you, Mark Fernandez, for that.
I think the people have spoken.
I think they have. Yeah.
You know, and
I was very and a big thanks to those people as well.
Yeah.
For your love, your support, the questions that come at us,
and our mission, which is to create a unified Star Wars fan base through dialogue.
Absolutely.
Right? Like that's the mission. Because even in the last episode, I thought we had a very diametrically opposed dialogue.
Oh yeah, that was a great episode.
About, talking about Last Jedi and talking about where the characters left off and if Disney had a plan or if they didn't have a plan.
Right. Kylo Ren's redemption.
Yeah, Rey's arc,
Rey's
Finn,
arc.
Rose, blah, blah, blah. And we had very, very, very different points of views.
Oh my God, yeah.
But when we finished the show and we wrapped up the show, we were all friends. We were better friends after it because ultimately we all want the same thing, which is a great, great, great and strong Star Wars franchise.
Absolutely, because as we commented on at the very end of that, it's like even if you didn't like A Last Jedi, even if you didn't like A Force Awakens, A Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, even if you didn't like Return of the Jedi, which I know you're out there. I've heard you people.
Yeah.
You people. I didn't mean it that way.
They are out there. They are out
They
there.
are out there. But no matter what, you love Star Wars. You love talking about it. Even even if it doesn't hit your expectations, when a new story comes out, you speculate. You want things. And for that, we are very thankful for all of you who support us, who have subscribed to the channel, who have commented, who have hit us up on Twitter. We really appreciate you. We heard you. We are now moving to the main channel.
Yeah.
That's for next year.
Yeah, and so if you come on Collider Podcast channel next Wednesday and you don't see the show, just go to YouTube/Collider Videos. It's going to be on there. Hopefully you're subscribed to all the Collider channels.
Right.
And you'll see the subscription thing in there anyway. But we look forward to the transition. We look forward to the show growing. And we might have some announcements about Rule of Two and Star Wars Celebration sometime soon.
Ooh, I like that. Stay tuned for that big announcement. I'll be listening as well because really?
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. So look, things are looking up and up and up, and it's all thanks to our little guy right here.
Anakin Skywalker did it for us.
The mascot of the show. And
That couldn't have put it better myself. Thank you, Anakin. Thank you, Mr. Fernandez.
Thank you, Riley.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Jedi Council, Ken Napsok, Christian Harloff, Darina, all the folks that come in, Perry,
everybody that's been on the show.
Yeah, all the folks that come in and out of the show, and there's so many others. I wish I could list them all because they're all great. But thank you to the Star Wars community that supports Collider, because all that means, if you like Star Wars content on Collider, it's just simple math. It just means you're going to get more of it.
Absolutely. And so with that being said, we're going to get into Rule of Two, episode 20, which we're going to answer some of your questions. And what is the best order to watch all the movies? Let's do it now.
Rise.
May the Force be with you, everyone. It's Rule of Two, episode 20, here on the Podcast One Jedi Council feed. And for now, just for this episode on Collider Podcast YouTube channel, which will be moving to Collider Video's main channel next episode, next year of 2019. I'm your host, Mark Yodi Riley, also known as Darth Rylis, joined by always as Mark Fernandez, Darth Sidious. Mark Sidious. I always mess it up. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Taking some notes over there, I see.
Yeah, I'm taking some notes about this order. I keep thinking about this idea. We're going to get into the order first.
Yeah, we're going to do the order.
We're going to do some questions, just rapid fire questions. We can't get super lost on it. I know that we're prone for that.
Oh, yeah. When the two of us get together, as you can see, because I'm gonna do a shameless plug as well. Tomorrow, this is a pre-recorded episode that we're dropping during the holidays. Tomorrow, on a pre-recorded episode of the Riley Roundtable, Fernandez joins me again.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And we go over the top 10 sci-fi movies all time according to the AFI list.
Yeah, which is kind of like the Hall of Fame of movies, right? The AFI.
Yes, AFI is the Hall of Fame of movies when they do their list, the best of, the best westerns, the best crime dramas, what have you. It's reason enough to talk, and boy, did we get into it.
2 hours almost.
It was almost a 2-hour episode, so grab some popcorn, finish off that eggnog, and grab those slippers you got from your mom because you're going to want to lay back and relax. We go through all 10 sci-fi movies from AFI. It's a long conversation. Does it deserve a place on the list? Does it need to move spots? And what other movies did they possibly miss, in our opinion? We hope you enjoy that one. But also, another plug. Have you noticed on Collider Video, there's a top 10 Star Wars Heroes video series that came at you from the Collider Top 50. Oh, I can't believe it. It's here. Yeah. In honor of Star Wars not being in theaters, we wanted to give you all something. So it's the top 10 Star Wars heroes of all time. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? What's your order? What do you think of it? That is up now. It should be up now on the channel. Very excited about that one. What do you think of that?
Look, I think that's another podcast for another day.
Sure is.
I think after the list comes out, we should have a little retrospect on it. I can give you my sort of unfettered opinion on it. But look, ultimately, these lists are created by a voting procedure.
Yep, a community of people.
Yeah, community of people. So it does reflect a kind of a median perspective. I want to maybe take a look a little bit at how this voting procedure works moving forward, because I do believe that a few things were not correct. But look,
that's the beauty of the list.
That's the beauty of the list, is the dialogue, the discourse, the discussion. And hopefully there's some good discussion going on around that list. But if you haven't seen it, go check it out. If you haven't seen our top 10 Spielberg movies, go check that out.
That was a fun one.
Top 10 horror movies, go check that out. And of course, our top 50.
Top 50.
Top 50 superhero movies, which is quite an ordeal. So in any case, let's get cooking.
Let's get cooking. So right off the bat, we were asked many moons ago, many Tatooine suns ago, that what is the best order to watch these movies? Because if you think about it, episodes 1 through 8, the movies that we have now, not counting, we'll get into the spinoffs and the stories, but because they came out in different decades, you could ask yourself, what version do I watch it? Yeah. Now, I know you could go out there and I've heard of like the shotgun order that completely eliminates Phantom Menace. We're not going to get into some of those videos or theories that have been out there. This is just our personal
I think eliminating Phantom Menace is a mistake, but yeah.
I totally agree with you. I couldn't do it. But this is just the viewing order that we prefer. And that includes the spinoffs, and that includes the sequels, the prequels, and the original trilogy. Yeah. So that was a great question. We thought we'd start the show with that. Fernandez, I know you have a different viewing order than I do, which is great, which is why I wanted to answer it.
Yeah. So I have this mythical viewing order in my mind. That it's kind of like my perfect viewing order that I've never actually done, and it basically, to me, starts with, and I look, there's maybe some ways that you can tweak with this. Let me go with the one that I wish worked the best, and then I'll go with the one that if I had to, you know what? Let me just start with that one. If I had to recommend to somebody how to start watching Star Wars, okay, how would I do it?
Yeah.
Okay. I would go, and this viewing order is, like, for example, this young man that I'm working with on this new show, he's never seen Star Wars, right?
Ooh, okay.
So if I were to tell him, hey, this is the way to watch the movie, or somebody who's never seen Star Wars, this is how you should watch it to get into it.
Yeah.
How would you do it? I would probably start with A New Hope.
Yeah.
Okay? I would start with A New Hope, watch A New Hope. Then, as A New Hope is going, oh God, I don't know, man. This is so tricky.
I know. I started thinking differently too, and I hate myself for doing it.
Because I've seen it so many times in so many different orders. like, you know what? Let me phrase it this way. Maybe if I were to make my own edit,
Yeah.
right, my own like television show version of it, right?
Okay.
I would probably start with A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, when Luke and Obi-Wan have the conversation about Anakin, okay, I would probably cut. And see, now this is where I'm getting really, really strange.
You are getting strange and deep.
Yeah,
and I like it.
I would probably cut to Revenge of the Sith
Oh.
with the opening scene of the battle the Battle of Coruscant. Mm-hmm. You know, like
He was the best star pilot in the galaxy and a good friend.
yeah, and dun 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 dun
Fade.
dun 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 dun.
Love that.
Okay, so I would probably cut into that, and then I would probably take you through the end of Revenge of the Sith.
So we're watching the movie.
We're watching the movie.
Okay.
Like you get the first few minutes,
And we're left on Tatooine right now with Obi-Wan telling a story. So you're creating a flashback.
Yes.
I love this.
Yes.
Okay.
So you go, you have a flashback that takes you into Revenge of the Sith. You watch Revenge of the Sith. Actually, you know what? You can't watch it that way. You can't watch it that way because then it ruins the entire I Am Your Father.
This is where I'm going to come in.
Yeah, it ruins the entire I Am Your Father thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fine. So forget all that. Even though it was a cool idea.
Oh,
for
it was
5
really
minutes.
cool. You had
Yeah,
you had me
forget all
for a
that.
little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah,
forget all that. Forget all
because
that.
that's what's the interesting thing
Yeah, you can't
about
do it.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Is that we've had some addendums added here.
We've seen it so many times.
Rogue
yeah.
One, we've seen it a million times. There is this shotgun version out there that I did reference. Now I am going to lift
Yeah.
something from
Let's
that.
hear it. First, let's hear the shotgun version.
Well, let me find that online. The shotgun Star Wars order. There it is. Okay, so shotgun Star Wars order. He suggested this order: New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi.
It's good.
Okay, and then obviously, sorry, when I say shotgun order, I meant machete order, cutting it. I don't know why shotgun. Shotgun would just blow a hole in everything and just everything would be all over the place and be people hanging out and whatever. Yeah, so the idea would be New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, the reveal. This is kind of close to you.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
reveal
yeah.
of the father moment. Then you flash back to Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, witness the fall of Anakin to Darth Vader, and then you wrap it up with Return of the Jedi. This was before the sequel trilogy came out, so I'm assuming now you can then watch, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi. I don't know where that places Solo or Rogue One, so we're going to jump off of that. But
You know what? I'll add
noticeably
something to
absent
it.
is
Okay.
Phantom Menace. He gets rid of it completely.
Okay, so you know what? I'll add something to that. What if you start off Rogue One as your first one,
Okay.
right? New Hope, okay? Empire Strikes Back, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Phantom Menace,
Ooh, you're throwing it that late in, huh?
and Solo.
Fine. Why Phantom Menace, though, in that order? That I find interesting.
Because I think the Phantom Menace is worth watching, and I actually think it's really more the story of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a lot of Obi-Wan Qui-Gon stuff there.
It's almost like a standalone.
Yeah, it has a standalone vibe to it.
It does, actually. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does have a
You know why?
definite standalone vibe.
Because then it becomes so detached. Because we even brought it up on the last episode of Rule of Two. We then talked 10 years later between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. That's an interesting order. I'm kind of similar, but I'm going to start here.
Okay.
And I hesitate to do this but I think the way I have it in my mind is that it'll be able to capture the newer viewers because of the effects work. Because New Hope, even though it's timeless in my opinion, there are certain elements in there that you can tell it was a movie made in the 70s.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That's just the technology as it was
Yeah.
then. So if I were to say, watch Rogue One as the very first Star Wars movie anybody's ever watched. Because, right, this is part of the question was, if I've never seen a Star Wars movie, what order do I watch? Would you think that Rogue One is an okay movie for a non-Star Wars fan, somebody who's never seen the movies before, would you think it would capture the magic enough for that person? That's where I hesitate. I don't think so either. Because
it's okay, but it's only okay inside the context of Star Wars.
right. That's why I always keep going to New Hope, because there is that magic. Even though I say you can tell it was filmed in the 70s, there is something about that movie, the magic, the performances, the music, seeing all of that
That's
for the
why I
first time.
started it with New Hope and then tried to go back to Revenge of the Sith or something. But
Yeah, so
that's why the Machete Order is pretty good, actually.
the Machete Order is pretty good, but again, you don't have Rogue One in here. You don't have Solo in here, and you don't have any of the sequels.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, Solo, Rogue One, 7, 8, and if you're listening to this and 9's out, throw 9 in there as well.
So first of all, I'm gonna match that list up to a point. I'm gonna go
Okay.
also New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Phantom Menace, Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One.
I just realized, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Rogue One, Phantom Menace, Force Awakens. Okay, no, that's such a.
Wait, I want to change my mind because I love that.
Go ahead.
I love putting your same order, right? But after Revenge of the Sith, put Rogue One in there, because then you get the fall of Anakin,
Yeah,
right?
you get the castle.
You get the castle, you see Darth Vader wrecking shit,
Right.
and then you get a little bit of, oh my God, Darth Vader. If it ends, then it's almost like a flashback too. It's like, well, where are we with the rebellion? Return
Okay,
of the
you
Jedi.
know what? All right, so let me do this again.
Yeah,
I start off with A New Hope.
always. I think we're in
Okay.
agreement there.
I do the cut.
You do the cut. Oh, you're back to the cut.
No, fuck, you can't do the cut. You can't do the cut. I keep forgetting that.
This is great.
Hold on. New Hope,
You ever seen two grown men talk about Star Wars?
New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. You know what, though, man? At the end of the day, though, this is, if you really, really want to watch Star Wars and if you've never seen it before, I probably would recommend it. I mean, like, I've never experienced that, but what would it be if you just watched it in chronological order? Right? So
1,
it's-
2, 3.
so 1, 2,
Rogue
3,
One,
4,
4.
5. No, so 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, Solo.
I think you do Solo first because it takes place a
But the
few
thing
years
is,
before.
such a downer.
We're not big Solo fans here, so apologies. I know it's one of those where it feels like a speed bump for me.
I know, but like you also have to be worried about introducing somebody who's never. Even though I know a lot of people that only like saw the prequels first,
Right.
Because of their age, right? They saw the prequels first, and then they asked their parents to show them the originals.
I think I know where you're going with this too. You're introducing people to Han Solo that's not Harrison Ford,
Right.
right? I mean, Alden Ehrenreich is a great actor, but he's that was one of my big things. It's like there is something about Harrison Ford's portrayal that is indelible for me.
Yeah,
That
you know
is-
what?
it's
I'm gonna-
scarred into my soul.
I'm gonna come up with a new named release order.
Oh, I like
Okay.
this.
This is called the Lucas order.
Okay.
Okay, so you should watch it. It should be A New Hope. Mm-hmm. It should be A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. Okay, then I would put. Thank you, sir. So, okay. So just to start again, real quick. So you do A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Jedi. I'm sorry, Return of the Jedi, originally called Revenge of the Jedi.
Yep.
Return of the Jedi. Then you do Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. Okay. Then you're pretty much out of the Lucas realm. Okay. You do Shit. You know what? How about this? You ready for this?
Ready.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is
I love watching you work it out.
I didn't think this was going to be
Because
this
it's
complicated.
giving me time to think about it. I know. I didn't know it was going to be so complicated.
Yeah. All right. So what about this? The Lucas order. Okay. The official Lucas order. You go A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go Phantom Menace. Okay.
Okay.
Then you go Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
Okay. Then you go Clone Wars.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Then you go through that, the top 20 episodes of the Clone Wars television show.
Ooh, I like this.
Okay. Then you go Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Okay. Then you go Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you go The Force Awakens. Okay. The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And if you still can stand Star Wars by this point, you can watch Solo. That's what I call the Lucas order. That's what I'm sticking with.
I love that order. I didn't know we could do the TV show. You're adding TV
I mean, it's
show.
great content, right?
It is great content. Are you kidding me? The Clone Wars is the best.
Yeah. And notice I skipped all of Rebels.
You skipped Rebels. That's fine. There's I'm going to stay in the movie realm because I think it's a lot. I think what you do.
Well,
I'll do it this way.
The Clone Wars is a movie.
Right. But
It's
the
not
movie,
a great one, but
it's the worst.
to be honest, I've never seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? It's just.
I've seen the television show so many times, and I love the TV show.
Don't sully that memory because
that's my point.
The movie is almost unwatchable. That is my opinion. Ahsoka Tano almost was killed before she ever became beloved because that movie made her so annoying. But that's okay. I'm not going to include that either.
Yeah.
This is my own order
Yeah.
I would do it. So I would go New Hope, Empire, Flashback, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One. Okay? Then Return of the Jedi. Force Awakens.
Return of the Jedi. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Return of the Jedi. Then,
Right.
so to recap, New Hope, Empire, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Clone Wars, and Solo, the movies. Those are because they stand alone a little bit from, but I think you can get the story and what ending at Empire does, which is what you're doing too, which is thank you Machete Order for creating this. It's such an interesting idea to get the reveal, get the pure reveal of Darth Vader, and then flash back to see how it all happened, including Rogue One in there before we go to Return of the Jedi.
It really is the best use of the flashback is the machete.
Yeah, it really is. So that would be my order. I think it's a decent order. I think yours is a decent order too, and I love the inclusion of the Clone Wars TV shows.
Yeah, but my order doesn't have that pop of the going from Empire back to Phantom.
Didn't you do that though?
No.
What'd you do again?
Empire? I did New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, Phantom Menace, Attack.
So kind of the release schedule, but then with some movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So what do you
It's
think,
just because
guys?
that's been my order.
Yeah.
That's been my order.
I think, knowing Star Wars as well as I do now and knowing the Machete Order, when this Machete Order came out, this blew my mind. I was like,
Look,
I thought it was great.
All right, you know what? Let me revise my order.
Okay.
Okay? And now I'm going to sound like I'm just biting off of you, but
That's fine.
I stand by my order only because that's the way that I experienced it.
Yeah.
And I love Star Wars, so it was very effective for me. But I would go, the ultimate order probably is A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, okay? Return of the Jedi, right?
Yeah, that was
No, I'm sorry. Revenge of the Sith into Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
Then you go Solo, Rogue One. Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm not into it. Because the thing is like somebody once tweeted at us for Rule of Two. that their favorite trilogy was Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, and A New Hope.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that.
I love that. Like
That's crazy.
That's a great trilogy.
Yeah.
And
it
you
is.
think about it, that's a really, really solid trilogy.
Yeah.
You know? And then if you were to take that further and make it 4, you can almost wrap it up. Anyway, so I'll stick to my original order. I'll
Yeah.
stick to my original order.
You'll stick to the okay. So the original order is there, which is
Which is, just to wrap one last time, and I've
Yep.
said it 10 times. New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, then
Phantom Menace.
Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, then
Clone Wars.
oh fuck. Hold on, Revenge of the Sith, Clone. No. Between Attack and Revenge, you watch Clone Wars.
Perfect. Yep.
Then you watch some of the television show, all the choice episodes.
Right.
Right. Then you go Revenge of the Sith
Revenge of the Sith.
to sort of like end the saga.
Right.
Right.
The saga of Anakin.
The saga of
turning to
Anakin.
Darth Vader.
Right. Then you get Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and like basically the release order.
It's kind of like the release order, but instead of Revenge of the Sith, you're putting some of the TV shows, which came after.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because all those Clone Wars shows came after Revenge of the
Right.
Sith. I'm putting them before you watch Revenge of the Sith. It would be cool to see what happened between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
I agree with you. I think that's a great order. You got my order, guys. We want to hear your order. No, seriously, drop in those comments
Yeah.
here.
Sorry, it was so complicated.
You know what, though? Hey, it's Star Wars. We
Yeah.
love it. We change our mind. I think it's okay that you can change your mind. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So we want to hear your order. Drop those in the comments below and tell us what you think of our order and what would you do? Would you include all the TV shows? Would you include Rebels in there? Would you include, I don't know, are you listening to this? This is evergreen. Are you going to be
novels.
watching The Mandalorian? Where would you put that? The novels? So much to do, but we
Yeah.
are going to have to wrap it up pretty quick here because this is a special holiday edition of Rule of Two. But what I wanted to
So many questions coming in.
there are a lot of questions. I want to come in. This is a good one from Emilio Martinez at Milo's Way. Milo's Way. I'd always be interested in hearing both of your thoughts on what you'd change completely in any of the films released. Plot points, scenes, dialogues, anything you'd consider a weak point. Love the show, by the way. Thank you very much, Milo's Way, Milo's Way, Emilio. I think it's Milo's Way because it's Emilio. What would you say, Mark Fernandez?
I've said this on the show before. I'll keep it quick. I would when probably one of my favorite scenes. Dun 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 dun. You see Anakin, this Anakin walking into the Jedi Temple with the army behind him. After that, I would show the elder Jedi or mature Jedi giving resistance against Anakin, and Anakin just slicing through them like hot butter.
Yeah.
If I had one change in Star Wars, it would be getting that choreographed scene of Anakin completely destroying the Jedi in the temple with the crazy Sith eyes and tears running down his face.
Yeah.
And feeling all the emotions of him actually becoming full-on Darth Vader in action. That's the one thing I would change.
I would keep that into my change as well because it has to do with the prequels. I would make the prequels all about Obi-Wan Kenobi. He would be the protagonist of the whole series. So therefore, his character arc is almost a tragic one because he loses his best friend and Padawan, and apprentice, I should say. And that Obi-Wan is our hero in Phantom Menace. And I would say that I would also change Anakin would be older. I don't think we need him as a kid. It's always rubbed me the
I like
wrong
that.
way.
I've always liked that one. A bunch of people have told me that.
Yeah, it's kind of out there. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
not
good
it's
one,
not
it's a
a
good
new
one.
one, but I think that Obi-Wan
Because Hayden
Kenobi
was much better than the kid.
Hayden was much better than the kid. I would age him up. No offense, Jake Lloyd. You did what you did,
Yeah.
and you did what you needed to
Yeah,
do.
we'd love to have Jake on the show, by the way.
Absolutely. Jake Lloyd did a masterful job of dealing with that dialogue that Lucas gave him. I'm sorry, it's
Yeah.
not the greatest of dialogue,
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
he did it well. Let's get another one here from at Tabansky. I can't pronounce Twitter handles. Why can't you just be at John Smith? Okay. How probable do you guys think the Disney Lucasfilm will finally be brave enough to start exploring the Old Republic? Personally, this new phase of Star Wars has felt like it's being pulled away from the fantasy mythos of what makes Star Wars Star Wars. Thanks, love the show. I love that question.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be afraid of it anymore. I think that the Benioff and Weiss is Old Republic. It won't be called Old Republic.
It won't. It won't.
I think it's
Old
just going to go.
Republic is not canon.
Right. But
So they will not. I'm telling you right now, this is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The Disney folks, the current folks in charge of Star Wars, are not ones to pander to the past
Right.
in any way, shape, or form. I think to their own detriment, to be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that they will set it as in the birth of the Sith or the birth of the Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
but it will not have any connection with what we all know and love as the Old Republic.
like the video game Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, like any of the lore that's been established, Revan, Darth Malgus, any of that old lore is not relevant. I do believe somehow that Darth Bane, because he is canon, I believe.
He is canon. Clone Wars, he appeared.
Yeah, I think Darth Bane will somehow play a role in it.
I'd love that.
I think Sifo Dyas will somehow play a role in it.
Interesting. Okay.
And-
Connecting the prequels.
Yeah. So I think Bane and Sifo Dyas play a role in it to some degree, and I don't think that it will have anything remotely similar to what we all know and love as the Old Republic.
I agree with that. I think we're going to see what we would see basically is the formation of the Old Republic that will become canon, meaning that
Right.
we'll see
It will be a new version of
a
it.
new version of it. It'll be back many, many years. I believe it's going to be the formation of the Jedi and the rise of the Sith. And what do we need to do against the Sith is create a Jedi Council to bring the galaxy in order, henceforth creating a republic.
Yeah.
That's what I think could happen.
Yes.
All right, let's do a couple more before we end it here. This is a great question. I would love this. And where'd it go? Damn it. Okay. At Destiny Trost writes, this is Dylan. What do you think the last shot of episode 9 is?
Yeah, I'm looking at that one right now too.
Isn't that great? I have one.
I think that what's been the last shot of the last two movies, the one was Rey handing the saber over to Luke, and then the Last Jedi was the Broom Kid and the Stars, right?
Yep.
Or the last shot you get of the heroes is them in the Millennium Falcon, but then you get the Broom Kid after that,
Broom
right?
Kid, yeah.
I think that the last shot of episode 9 is going to be some kind of cliffhanger tease to keep the saga alive.
Jesus, hot take.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think we're getting an episode 10, 11, and 12 sooner or
Absolutely.
later?
Absolutely.
You know, I think so too, just based on business.
Yeah.
I think, but it's going to come years later.
Years later.
I'm going to just assume this is the final saga. This is it.
Yeah. I don't think so.
The last shot is Rey igniting her lightsaber, and as the camera pulls back,
Yeah. I see. That's cool. I like that.
and
The Jedi
there's the new Jedi Order or
It's
Council,
rebuilt.
and it's rebuilt. It's her basically saying that the Jedi will now thrive, and she did what Luke Skywalker couldn't do.
Right. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I think you're being extremely optimistic.
Dude, do you know who you're talking to? My God, man! How many? This is episode 21, man.
Yeah.
Let's
All
wait.
right,
Are
there's
we
one
20 or
question I
20?
wanna
No,
answer
20.
here. There's one question I want to answer here.
Okay.
I really like this question.
Great.
It is coming from, wow, this is a tough one. It's coming from Dark Shuyin 1. Okay? Dark
Okay.
Shuyin 1. What would your ideal Star Wars game look like?
Oh, I knew you'd love that. I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's a good question. Let me tell you, Shuyin, Dark Shuyin 1. My ideal Star Wars video game as of right now. Mm-hmm. And I dream about it every day.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
and,
You're ready for this.
And like I've always heard, I forgot where I heard this, but I'm lifting this from somewhere. But genius,
Okay.
okay, is 1% inspiration and 99% funding.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay?
I get it.
So my genius Star Wars video game would be a VR game. Mm-hmm. Okay, similar to like when I play VR Skyrim or Skyrim VR, I use the lightsaber mods, and it's the most fun I've ever had in any Star Wars game ever, even though it's not even a Star Wars game.
Right.
It would be a Star Wars game that's basically you in the role of a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and like, look, ideally it would be like a VR Star Wars version of Galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's completely open ended. You could be like a Jedi, a bounty hunter, all these kinds of things. But if I couldn't get there yet, I would settle for this, and it wouldn't really be settling, which I've always wanted, is to be a Force sensitive Jedi that turns to the dark potentially, or stays in the light. But basically, I think I've told you this before on another episode. It's very similar to the story of Munich, where where as a Jedi you have to go hunt down X number of people that were all involved in some heinous crime.
Okay.
That you're now, as a Jedi, being told to go make right. Mm-hmm. And it's basically hunting down these 5 or 6 other Jedi or Sith or whatever it may be, as long as it's saber versus saber or saber versus at least, guns and whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's basically a bounty hunting game, but you play a Jedi.
As a Jedi?
So
Ooh.
basically like Darth Maul. But anyway, basically, long story short, Shu Yin 1, Dark Shu Yin 1, a really, really, really good, in-depth Star Wars VR game where you train in the ways of the Force, where it's really involved, open-ended, sandbox style, similar to Skyrim or Red Dead Redemption, but with Star Wars.
I like that.
Yeah.
I would focus on a Jedi. I would want to make it like Red Dead Redemption 2 or Spider-Man, open world, and I'm talking open galaxy. You get a ship and you fly and you hit light speed and you go to another planet.
Yeah.
But you're going around with an AI master who's training you the entire time, to where you're going to have to make choices on this journey.
Yep.
You could fall to the dark side if you don't follow your master's advice.
Yep.
Your master will die at some point, but it is an open world video game all over the galaxy, mission, being trained by an AI. That's my ultimate. That would be amazing. Can you imagine that? You get in a ship, a Jedi starfighter, and you're able to
First
go.
of all, you're describing Star Wars Galaxies.
Am I? Because I never played it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
that's
such
great.
A shame. It's such a shame.
I know. I
It's
hear
such
that.
a shame.
All right, we got room for one more question, and then we got to wrap it up. Do you see any there that you like?
Let me see here.
There's
some
so many good ones.
There's really good ones.
Oh, there was that one with the music.
You know what? Let me just ask you a random one.
Do it.
Get into how Rule of Two came into being, how it developed, and how it was implemented. It's a good little behind-the-scenes question. What's your perspective on that?
Would that be from a Mr. David Ham?
Yeah.
I love it. He's one of my Patreons.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's a great guy. I knew this question was coming.
Yeah, so
I love this question
I'll
too.
give the real story.
Okay.
You want to you
Do it, please.
Okay, so and look, it's a little bit bittersweet. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit bittersweet, this story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
I had it different. I remember talking to him about this. So
Yeah.
please.
So John Schnepp and I we're going to start a podcast.
Yeah.
Called The Prequels versus the Sequels.
Right.
Okay? And Schnepp was always going to be defending the sequels, and I was always going to be defending the prequels.
Right.
And he and I would go to lunch and we would crack up talking about it. And John Schnepp, didn't love The Last Jedi either when he first saw it. Like right the first time he saw it,
Yeah.
he called me up that night and he was like, "Yo, Mark, man, we got to talk about this Last Jedi. Like, what the hell was that?"
He came around to it.
He came around to it. He really did.
I remember
come around
having
to
that
it.
conversation with him.
Yeah, he came around to it.
Yeah.
And when he came around to it is when he and I would have little debates about it. And that's when we said, dude, it would be so much fun to do a podcast called The Sequels versus the Prequels. Mm-hmm. And we talked about doing it all the time. And we would do fake versions of it. And we would just have fun with each other, just making fun of each other.
Yeah.
And, sadly, he's no longer with us. We were never able to fulfill that. This is even before we really started doing the whole podcast thing.
Right.
You know,
Because the way I remember it, some
Yeah.
Star Wars news broke, and some big Star Wars news, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Maybe it was I want to believe it was either J.J. Abrams coming back to direct one of these big ticket items where Christian essentially said, "Go record an episode," or "Let's go talk about it." And so you and I sat down, and then it became something that we enjoyed doing because we got
I
on a
forget what
tangent.
the first episode is even about.
I can't remember because I'm old.
Yeah, but basically, I wanted to do a podcast with Schnepp, prequels versus the sequels. It never happened, sadly enough. Mm-hmm. I still had the itch in the back of my mind to do a Star Wars podcast, and maybe something did happen with some news or something like that. But then,
Oh yeah, it for
but
sure
then
happened.
you and I.
I mean, it was either you, me, and Christian, or you, me, and somebody else.
You know what? I think it was around Comic-Con.
Maybe.
It was around Comic-Con that you and me were part. Like I was. It's the only Jedi Council I've ever been on. Was the
Right.
Comic-Con? You know what it was? It was the Clone Wars coming back.
Yes, we did. Yes, that was big.
But we had already done Rule of Two by that episode.
We did. I mean, I remember it was news. Let's get it out there.
Yeah.
Because Jedi Council had already filmed, so there was going to be a week, so we wanted to release some content on
Yeah.
the
Is it
thoughts.
possible to see what the name of the first Rule of Two episode is?
Of course there is. Yeah.
Hold on. Even if we run late, they can go to hell.
Oh, I like this.
We have a time machine here. Remember that?
We do have a time machine. We also have the boss in the room, so
Yeah,
you know
good
how
point.
you know how that works.
Yeah. Rule of Two.
Here we go.
podcast.
Yeah, boy. Okay, there's episode 10. There's episode 4.
How
episode
Clone-
1, how the Clone
Yeah,
Wars
so
united the
It
fans.
was the Clone Wars.
Yep. That's it.
It was the Clone Wars. And then we
And then-
did that first episode. People liked it. And then we did Jedi Council, which was about... No, actually, that's not true. I think Jedi Council... Our episode of Jedi Council might have predated Clone Wars.
Yeah, we have the Rule of Two, episode 1, how the Clone Wars united the fans. Will the new Clone Wars series... Okay, there's that.
Yeah.
The Clone Wars series returns. Will any other original trilogy character appear in episode 9?
Yeah. So basically, that's how it got started.
Yeah.
And then we had so much fun doing it, and then the fans were into it, and then the rest is
Oh, I know what this is. It was right around June 22nd. It was off our report from Frosty that they were putting the standalones on hold. We commented on it. And that was the nugget that started it. That was the kernel that grew into this giant tree that's putting us over onto the Collider Video main channel.
cool.
So yeah, that was kind of yes. There was a little bit of your conversation with Schnepp. I remember you telling me this. We wanted to do a very similar episode, sequels versus prequels. There was that news that broke. Basically, I mean, you can agree or disagree, Mark. When we really sat down and started talking about Star Wars, just finally the two of us, we had one of those episodes where we looked at each other and went, that we have a good rapport for talking Star Wars.
Absolutely. All right. So let's end it with this one. All right.
All right, let's do it.
Because this is something that I think about all the time.
Okay.
This comes from Kyle Arango,
Okay.
who I see his profile picture is a picture of him and Mark Ellis.
All right. So we got a Mark Ellis fan in here.
Yeah, yeah. So Kyle Arango, Kyle Movie Guy is his thing. Who would you like to see direct a Star Wars film?
Oh boy, it's always the greatest question.
Yeah.
It depends on the subject matter. I would love. The end of the day, I've always wanted Spielberg to direct a Star Wars movie.
I mean, there's pretty good evidence to say that he directed 3, Revenge of the Sith.
I know. Although I know that's a rumor. I know there's evidence.
I mean, there's evidence in the documentary. Of Lucas himself saying it explicitly.
Yeah. So we got that, I guess. But see, still,
But still, it's not.
Yeah, I think he would. I think if he did in fact do it, he was hiding some of his Spielberg isms.
Yes. He was still a ghost director.
Right. Because
which is different.
if you think about it, though, there's a big debate between Tobe Hooper and Steven Spielberg directing Poltergeist.
Right.
Some people said that it was a ghost director, pardon the pun, who was doing, he took over the set. Some people say it was perfect collaboration. What I do know about Poltergeist is there's a lot of Spielberg in there. There's a lot of these moments. The camera shows you the eyes of the character and not what, and we're not seeing. We're only seeing what they're looking at. That's Spielberg, right? I don't remember much of that in Revenge of the Sith. That there's not those moments of like, shots or whatever, and it's dun, 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 and he's looking.
I mean, I would argue that moments like, speaking of the eyes very specifically, moments of Padme looking into the city, moments of when Anakin is thinking about, do I go stop Mace Windu from trying to kill the Emperor? But my answer, and like, I go all over the place here. I love Quentin Tarantino, even though I don't think he would be a great fit.
Yeah.
I think Quentin Tarantino would have been excellent for like Solo, something like that. But if I had my way, even though recently I was pretty happy with the idea of Mangold directing something, even though he got Boba Fett, I'd rather wish it would have been Obi-Wan than it would have been announced.
Yeah, he would have been better for Obi-Wan.
But like if I had my way, even though they don't have the same punch that they used to, but if they were to somehow get reinvigorated to come back into that mold, the Wachowski brothers, or I'm sorry, the Wachowski siblings.
The Wachowski siblings, yeah. That's a good one.
I mean, I loved Speed Racer.
I know.
I thought Speed Racer was great.
Speed Racer didn't bug me like it bugged somebody. I thought it was pretty damn good.
The next one I didn't like so much. The next one that they did with Tom Hanks.
Oh God, what was that one?
Ascend or Jupiter Ascending or whatever that one was.
Yeah, well, Jupiter Ascending was a different one. Tom Hanks wasn't in it. I know what you're talking about.
But Jupiter Ascending is the Wachowskis, right?
I want to say it is. Jupiter Ascending. I think it was. Yeah, it was.
It was, right?
Yeah.
And then they had another one too, right?
Tom Hanks, Wachowski. Let's see what comes up. And Cloud Atlas.
Cloud Atlas, yeah. Those two I didn't love. Either one of those two movies I didn't love.
No, I didn't like them.
But I do love the idea of the Wachowski brothers tackling Star Wars. And I think it would be
you're
great.
looking for the Wachowski siblings' sensibilities from Matrix.
Yes. Yeah. From
and
all
more
three
importantly,
of the Matrix.
From all three. Okay.
Yeah.
I would go Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, that's a better one.
I love Christopher Nolan.
That's a better one.
Everything he does, I love.
A Darth Vader movie.
Geek.
Yeah, you're right.
Just
you're
geeking
right.
out.
Nolan is better.
Nolan, I would love.
I think Nolan has never made a movie like The Matrix. I would trust Nolan more now than I would the Wachowskis.
He just constantly puts out good stuff.
Yeah.
Other directors that come to my mind, this is a weird one. Jennifer Kent comes to my mind.
Who's that?
She directed The Babadook. And the reason I love The Babadook is because it's scary.
I have one.
But two, she did really good work with the young boy in that. But I loved the shot selection. I loved her sensibilities with the actors.
Yeah.
And it's a specific, again, it was really, you have to think about it from, like, what's the story being told? I would want it to be something based around like a Mos Eisley's Cantina, like a Jabba the Hutt movie, like a Boba Fett movie, something that could play to her kind of what she did in Babadook. It's a weird thought. It just came to my head,
yeah,
too.
I've never seen that. This one just came to my head. You know who I would probably go after, too? Because I love the way he directs action, and I love his sensibility. Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah, Matthew Vaughn was rumored at one point. Matthew Vaughn I would love as well. Guillermo del Toro, I think, is tailor-made for a Star Wars movie, and we know that we heard rumors, that is. I don't know. I know. I mean, not know. I mean, we heard the rumors.
No, we might know.
We might know, yeah.
But anyway.
These aren't my glasses.
All right, so look, there you have it.
There you have it.
All right, you know what? One, because it's Christmas.
Okay.
And we're all sitting around the campfire.
Yep.
Let's get one more. Hold on. we got so many questions that
Unbelievable. We're going to have to do this more often.
we got so many questions that I just want to answer one more.
Okay.
Let's see the last one that came in. How about that? So the last one that came in. This is a good question.
Okay.
And this is almost like an entire episode of Rule of Two right here.
Mm-hmm.
This comes from the Church of JJ. And his actual Twitter name is Kenobi JJ. Okay? Kenobi JJ is asking over under 50%. So he's asking for an actual over under, a handicap. Does the Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy happen?
Over, under. I'm never good at those things. I'll just give it to you straight. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Rian Johnson's trilogy
And I'm
is
looking
gonna
at
happen.
Riley in the face right now. He looks like he's telling the truth.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. One, I think this is what's going to happen. I think that we've heard rumors about JJ not liking Rian Johnson, vice versa, whatever that is.
Yeah.
That they had a beef because of everything that happened. I think that Rian Johnson did his Star Wars movie. I think he is a masterful guy on Twitter because he has been able to take so much abuse, and it is abuse. I've seen you idiots go after him. That's not fair. Like, I get pissed at that stuff. When you're calling out and hoping he dies and all that kind of stuff, that's bullshit. If you want to critique his movie, fine. But I think it's enough for him to walk away. He did his thing. He's making Knives Out right now with Daniel Craig and Jamie Lee Curtis, and a huge thing. I think he's going to go and do his own thing, whether that's himself making that decision or Lucasfilm doing that decision. I think he's done.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. I think the over-under would be very, very, very low. I'd say 10% of it happening, maybe 20, 25%.
Yeah.
I think he's done too. I think that, he had a very heartwarming post the other day because it was like the 1-year anniversary of The Last Jedi came out. And he was like, thank you so much to all the fans and blah, 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 blah.
That felt like a goodbye.
It felt like a goodbye.
Yeah, I felt like that was his bow, and the reason I said that is and called them idiots is because then you have people attacking his character.
Yeah.
Saying awful things about his family, about himself.
Yeah, that would.
I'm not saying all fans. Please don't take my words out of context here. I don't like it when people are abusive to creators.
Absolutely.
And
to anybody.
To anybody.
Yeah.
But if you if you go and critique his work and say, dude, Ryan, I didn't like it. You did this with Luke. I didn't. What happened, man? Why'd you do that? That's one thing.
Yeah.
Calling the man names and threatening his life is another.
Yeah, that's just like stupid.
That I hate. It makes me so angry when they do that.
That's just stupid internet BS. But look, I believe everybody's open to criticism.
Yes,
and I believe that
be.
Everybody can learn from criticism. As long as it's done in a constructive way that is ultimately geared towards the mission of this show, which is creating the loyal opposition, right? We all want the same thing.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
But in terms of the question, I don't think it's happening.
I don't think it's happening. We haven't heard a lot about it.
Nah.
I think that they're going to do the Benioff and Weiss. I think they're looking at that as the future of Star Wars, to be honest with you, because you can, and I believe it. We've said it. I believe it will go back to the formation of the Jedi, formation of Sith, Old Republic.
Hopefully, the
so to
TV
speak.
show isn't a bomb. I think maybe that could be a good rule of two for next year once we know a little bit more about that TV show.
Yeah, it's hard to talk
TV
past
show
it.
Could bomb. It could bomb.
It could. God, if that bombs and Episode 9 doesn't do that well, we might have a whole different Rule of Two show.
You and I might get the phone call.
Yeah, we might. I know.
Yeah.
And you're calling yourself, Fernandez. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to cancel the show. What do you mean? Yeah. Then you're like Gollum in Lord of the Rings. All right, those are great questions.
Yeah.
We'll
Merry
do this
Christmas.
again. Merry Christmas, everybody out there listening at home. We hope you had a great holiday, a great time with either family, friends, wherever you found yourself. This is the episode 2, or sorry, what am I saying? I was going into Attack of the Clones. This is Rule of 2, episode 20. We want to thank you for your support. Remember, next year, once we click over to 2019, you will be able to find Rule of 2 on the main channel at Collider Video on YouTube. But subscribe, leave us some comments. You can always find us on the Jedi Council Podcast 1 feed, dropping every Wednesday. I am at Riley Round on Twitter and Instagram. at Mark Fernandez on Twitter. Anything you want to add before we head out of here?
It's been a good year.
It's been a great year.
I look forward to next year. I look forward to many more Star Wars discussions. Hopefully, we start getting new things to talk about.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like we do a pretty good job about talking about our love of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like a diamond with like a million different cuts from different angles. You can look at it from so many different angles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every time I walk into this room, I feel like we have nothing to talk about. And every time I look at your face and we start going off, we always find something, you know. So it's been a pleasure. It's been a great 2018 working with you, and I look forward to 2019.
Same, right back at you. It just shows that we love Star Wars, warts and all. If you think there's warts on them, I think there's some, you know. But at the end of the day, we love it, and we love that you're along for the ride, all of you out there listening or watching at home. So thank you very much. Episode 20 is in the books of Rule of Two. We will see you next year on Collider Video's main YouTube page and on Rule of Two.
Rise